Our next set of measurements are going to come with the chair measuring device removed from the chair. So you can see we've taken it out. But there is a step before we proceed with those measurements that we need to talk about. And that is the requirement that we mark the bottom of the lower lumbar zone. And it calls for us to take a scale and measure down 110 millimeters from the prior mark we made early on when we first started this measurement series. And so we're going to come in here, line it up with 110, and make our mark right here. The first measurement in our series of measurements with a CMD out of the chair is the seat surface width. And that's measured in the seat surface width zone between the 65 millimeter line and the 185 millimeter line, which is really 120 forward of that 65 line. So we're going to set our scale up in there, and we're going to get the narrow spot turns out to be here at the very back of that area. So we've got that set in there, and you can see you're going to come along and make your measurement right about here. And that turns out to be over 430 millimeters. Okay, our next measurement we're going to make will be the seat surface depth. And that is defined as the depth, the narrow or least depth anywhere in the zone between 115 millimeters either side of the center line of the chair. So as you can see looking down in here, this particular chair, that least surface depth occurs right here at the very edge. So we'll just slide a scale in here, and we'll come off the front of the chair and make our measurement. So we're getting something a little over 430 millimeters. The next measurement we're told to take is the backrest width, and it's to be taken within the lumbar zone at these two particular points. Remember we marked those lumbar zones, the top and the bottom. So we're just going to take this scale, and we're just going to kind of come in here and project across. And you can see that from here to here, the backrest is essentially a straight line. So we'll just take a convenient point here, and we'll measure from here across over to here. And that yields roughly 400 millimeters. The next measurement we're about to take is the one for the backrest radius. We have a nice little radius measuring tool here, and you are supposed to make the measurement within the backrest or the lumbar zone. As you recall, we decided that anywhere in this zone would work, and so you come along here and you move this back and forth until it gets a nice fit of the radius, which is right about there. You make that adjustment and you take your reading off the front. Our next measurement that we're asked to take is the length of the armrest, and we have a special set of calipers that does a nice job for us on this. We're asked to make the measurement 200 millimeters down below the top surface, as you see here. So the calipers are set up so that the leg of the caliper is exactly 20 millimeters down, and you set it up so it touches on this end, right where the calipers intersect, and the same thing on this end, and you take the reading off the scale. Our next measurement is armrest width, and we're asked to make the measurement of the greatest width down 5 millimeters from the top of the arm. And so we take our calipers and turn them over, because this caliper's arms hang down 5 millimeters on this side, and so we would slide them in either side of the arm and take our reading off the scale. Is the hip breadth clearance, and so we're asked to do this with the armrest adjusted as far out as we can. So we've got that. Same thing on the other side. And we're told to do it in a zone between 85 millimeters ahead of the backrest line, which is approximately right here, all the way to the forward part of the chair. And as you can see, the armrests are pretty much parallel here, so any measurement we take on this in that zone will work quite nicely. You simply read your scale here. Now, just a little bit of a caveat. This chair does not illustrate it, but some supports for the armrest sometimes will taper in like this. And if that's the case, then that hip breadth zone would be on the edge of the armrest support instead of the armrest itself. So be careful of that. The illustration in the standard. It shows you that, but just remember to look at both sections of the armrest assembly when you do that. Okay, our next measurement is going to be made on the narrowest and widest positions we can get the armrest into, and we're asked to make those measurements 5 millimeters down from the top of the surface. So we've previously marked some 5 millimeter points here. We're going to talk a little bit about the adjustment now. We want to get it in the narrowest position first, so we'll pinch that in, and then we're going to see that, well, it would be narrower yet if we rotate it in. And in some cases, some chairs might have a taper in their support. And if that taper were to go down like this, for instance, the chances are they would be closer together yet if they went all the way down. But in this case, that support works pretty much parallel to the vertical, so we'll just leave it in the upper position. So we're going to go make the measurement now with this thing in the narrowest possible position at that 5 millimeter level. And so that would be like right here. So we'd make that measurement at about there. This one happens to get 375 millimeters. Then the next measurement we're asked to take is with this armrest as far apart as possible. So we'll just simply move them out. And it gets as far apart as possible, typically when these two are parallel. So we'll just set it there. And again, you make your second measurement just like that. Here we're up to about 510 millimeters. The next and last measurement we're asked to take is the maximum offset of the underframe. And that's a measurement that you take off the center line of the chair spindle, such as this right here, and you look at the outermost point, that the combination of the base and the caster extends forward. So that would be this outside surface of the caster. You simply measure down, and we got something here that's probably about 385 millimeters.